to look at Daniel Jones, for example, and the way that he's been playing in Indy, but I'm looking at the success of Jonathan Taylor and the way that he's been balling. When you look at Sam Darnold in Seattle, I'm looking at their defense and what they're usually doing, yesterday notwithstanding. And I just say to myself, with CeeDee Lamb out, with Micah Parsons having been traded, with the pressure clearly falling on the shoulders of Dak Prescott, he has answered the call. And right now, I think he needs to be a leading candidate for league MVP honors. But I also want to applaud him for this. I want to applaud him for saying it's the regular season. It doesn't matter whether it was week 4, week 5, or week 17. Because what he acknowledged is what we should all feel. We shouldn't give a damn about what he's doing in the regular season. It's about
This is Cowboys Nation Report. And today, we're talking about something that feels like a turning point in the Dallas Cowboys season. A moment that wasn't just about a win. It was about identity. It was about respect. And it was about a defense finally finding its voice. Without Micah Parsons, without the noise, and under a new system that's starting to click under Brian Schottenheimer. Let's rewind for a second. After that frustrating Week 4 tie with Green Bay, the mood around the team was tense. The locker room knew it. The zone coverage scheme was too soft, too predictable, and too far from what made Dallas special in the first place. Trevon Diggs, never one to mince words, said it himself. We're getting comfortable being uncomfortable. That wasn't just frustration. That was a challenge, a message to the coaching staff and to every man on that defense. And you know what? Brian Schottenheimer and defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus heard him. Because when Dallas took the field against the New York Jets, this defense looked like something else entirely. Gone was the conservative four-man rush that let quarterbacks get cozy in the pocket. In its place, a pressure-heavy attack, blitzing from angles, collapsing protection, and forcing Justin Fields to play on the run from the very first quarter. The result? One of the most complete defensive performances we've seen all year. Yes, the Jets scored on their opening drive, the 4th time in 5 games an opponent struck early. But from that point on, the lights went out. Dallas forced 4 punts, a turnover on downs, a fumble, and allowed just a single field goal before the 4th quarter. It wasn't just about shutting the Jets down. It was about sending a message. The Dallas Cowboys defense has teeth again. After the game, he spoke to reporters, doubling down on his stance, not backing away, not walking it back, but standing by his words with pride. He said, when we have pressure like that, we can call whatever we want. We can call prevent and still win. I definitely felt like it worked. We got off the field, the D-line was getting back there so fast. Then he laughed and dropped a line that's now already legendary in Dallas. When they get back there fast, we call it instant grits. You don't want oatmeal. Oatmeal takes too long. You want instant grits. And we had instant grits on Sunday. That's the perfect description of what this defense looked like. Fast, hot, and ready before the offense even knew what hit them. It was a total statement game. James Houston looked like a natural in this system. Quick hands, bend, timing, all of it. Kenny Clark and ODG controlled the interior, and even without Micah Parsons, Dallas's defensive front looked sharper, more disciplined, more violent. That's not a downgrade, that's evolution. This is what Schottenheimer has been preaching since the offseason. Adaptable aggression, discipline with intent, pressure that creates chaos but with structure behind it. For weeks, fans were asking if the Cowboys had lost that swagger, that fear factor. Against the Jets, the answer was loud and clear. No, they just needed to rediscover who they were. Now, let's talk about Trevon Diggs, because while he was a key part of that turnaround, he also brought a bit of controversy late in the game. With just under 14 minutes left, tensions boiled over between Diggs and Jets receiver Arian Smith. A little pushing, a headbutt from Smith, and then Diggs fired back with a punch. It earned him a 15-yard, unsportsmanlike penalty, and most likely a fine from the league. Now, let's be real. You never want to see that kind of thing. But let's also call it what it was. Fire. Passion. the type of edge this defense has been missing. The league will do what the league does, probably slap him with a fine in the range of $17,000 or $18,000 given his past record. But for the locker room, that moment said something deeper. Trevon Diggs is done waiting. He's done settling for bend but don't break. He's done watching Dallas get pushed around early in games. This is a man playing with pride again. And it's contagious. Because that new scheme, that blend of man coverage with aggressive pressure, is tailor-made for players like Diggs. When your corners trust that the rush will hit home, they can gamble. They can jump routes, bait throws, and take risks. And when they do, that swagger starts spreading through the whole unit. In the post-game presser, even Schottenheimer himself praised the defensive chemistry. He said this team is finally playing complementary football. And that's the key phrase. The Cowboys aren't leaning on one superstar anymore. They're playing as a unit, offense, defense, and special teams feeding off one another. It's also worth noting how resilient this team has been given the injuries. 4 backup offensive linemen, no CeeDee Lamb, and still over 400 yards of total offense. Dak Prescott continues to look poised, decisive, and in total control. And now, with the defense turning the corner, Dallas finally looks like a complete team again. And while Trevon Diggs may be facing legal discipline, no one can question his leadership right now. He's demanding more, not just from himself, but from his teammates and his coaches. And that's the mark of a player who wants to win. Now let's be honest. After losing Micah Parsons, a lot of analysts wrote Dallas off defensively. They said the identity was gone. They said the energy wouldn't be the same. But what we're seeing now is something even better. A defense that doesn't rely on one man. A defense built on cohesion, accountability, and speed. Instant grits. That's not just a joke. That's a philosophy. It means fast adjustments, fast pressure, fast results. And this new Cowboys era under Brian Schottenheimer is starting to feel different. It's tactical, it's tough, and it's beginning to look sustainable. When you can play this hard with half your starters missing, that's not luck, that's culture. So here's the takeaway. Trevon Diggs might have thrown a punch, but what he really threw was a spark that could light up the entire second half of this season. As Dallas moves forward, they've got winnable games ahead: Carolina, Washington, Denver, and if this defense keeps this intensity, if Dak continues to play at an MVP pace, and if players like Diggs, Clark, and Williams keep leading by example, this team can absolutely make noise down the stretch. So here's the real message. The Cowboys don't need to be perfect. They just need to be connected. And right now, for the first time all year, that's exactly what they look like. This is Cowboys Nation Report, where we don't just talk football, we live it. So what do you think, Cowboys Nation? Was this the real turning point for our defense? Did Trevon Diggs just give us the spark we've been missing since the Micah Parsons era ended? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you believe the Cowboys are finally back on track, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this ride is just getting started. Dallas is finding its rhythm again, and this time, it feels real.